Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to give up my room for someone else's baby? My parents live in the UK while I live overseas. My cousin, 21 female, also lives in the UK and is pregnant with her first child. Her parents live overseas. However, it is normal in our culture to go to stay with your parents for the first month or so after you give birth so they can help with the baby and help you get back on your feet. My dad is her closest relative in the UK, so she asked my parents if she can stay with them after she gives birth, and they agreed. Now, the house is jointly owned by Mum, Dad, and I. There are 2 guest rooms as well as my room, which isn't occupied when I'm not there, obviously. The larger of the guest rooms is only slightly smaller than my room, but it has an ensuite. I go back home every 2 to 3 months and put a lot of money into renovating my room. And there are also lots of baby supplies there for my own 7-month-old too. Think cot, a sleep nest, bathtub, car seat, etc. So my cousin is due anytime in the next fortnight, and this week she texted me to tell me she wants to use my room. I told her no, that's my space. It needs to be open for me to travel home. She said it was the nicest of the available rooms and she needs to be comfortable while recovering from childbirth. Edit. She also said she wants to use my son's cot, car seat, and anything else there is to make my life easier after delivery. So basically she wants to use my baby supplies instead of making sure she has her own. I said no, she can't just help herself to my space and belongings. She started having a meltdown at me over text. So I got my parents involved. She got her mom involved, and now my aunt is arguing with my dad saying he's allowing me to bully her pregnant daughter when she has nobody else to defend her, and how my dad should discipline me and be there for his niece. I don't think I'm in the wrong, but they're making such a huge deal. I'm wondering if maybe I'm the a-hole. You're not the a-hole, OP. I get that your cousin just assumed that since you have all this baby stuff and a room that's well furnished, she could just use it, but she should have stopped after she asked and you said no. There's absolutely nothing wrong with her staying in a guest room. As long as it has a bed, I'm sure it's comfortable. You're not the a-hole for not wanting to share your belongings and space with her, because who knows if she plans on helping herself with some of your baby stuff just because she can. She definitely sounds like the type too. I think your aunt is wrong for enabling her daughter, and I hope they realize your father is being nice by giving her a place to stay. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. First, it is your room. You have no obligation to share it. Second, there are 2 spare rooms she can use. It's not like she has to sleep on a couch. There are other available rooms. Third, she's a guest. She's being a poor guest by making demands. Tell the aunt, if she's so concerned, she can get her daughter a penthouse suite at a Hilton. Not the a-hole. If she really wanted to be comfortable after childbirth, she would take the room with the ensuite bathroom. She's really wanting to use all your baby furniture and supplies without having to get her own. I would bet she gave her mom some kind of exaggerated story so that your aunt would try to bully you and your parents into letting your cousin have her way. Since you are part owner of the house and the owner of the baby stuff, stand your ground. Talk to your parents about getting your cousin back to her own place as soon as possible. It doesn't matter how often you're there or not. It's your room and stuff you have paid hundreds, if not thousands, for. If she ever leaves, I guarantee she'll be taking anything she likes with her too, or damage your things. Make it clear you will not be enabling her behavior, and if she keeps acting like a child, she can go to a hotel. It's not yours or your parents' responsibility to take care of her, nor her baby. She has a husband who's perfectly capable of doing so. Also, if her mother has a problem, she should take a trip from Asia to take care of a child and grandchild rather than demanding others bend to their will. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not posting pictures of my stepdaughter on social media? I have one stepdaughter who is my husband's daughter from a previous relationship, and 2 children with my husband, so in total 3 kids in our family. I love all 3 very much. My stepdaughter and I have a good relationship, and I have known her since she's been a little girl. My birth kids are 3 and 5, while my stepdaughter is 14, so there is a significant age gap. I like photography and take lots of cute pictures of the younger kids to post on social media for friends and family to see. My stepdaughter is quite busy and never has seemed interested in being in pictures, so I have never pushed her outside of family pictures and the Christmas card. My stepdaughter blew up at me and told me that I hate her because I never post pictures of her, and want to erase her existence and only wants her dad to be a dad to my kids. I was absolutely shocked and said that was not my intention at all. She is now refusing to come over, saying we wish that she doesn't exist. My husband doesn't know too much about the social media thing because he doesn't have any and is furious at me, saying that I should have posted pictures of her and that he is going to lose her because of me. He said that he refuses to let me stop her from coming over. Again, this was not my intention and I was shocked. I offered to take pictures of my stepdaughter and post them because I would love to have more pictures of her. She's growing up too fast. But my stepdaughter and husband both said that it's just fake of me and I'm only doing it because she's upset and not because I want to. Reddit, am I the a-hole for not posting pictures of her? I wouldn't say you're an a-hole, OP. I also understand how you could come across as one to your stepdaughter though. You might think she had no interest in posing for pictures, but I wonder if you ever asked her if she wanted to, and if she actually turned you down. I think you should have tried to include her instead of assuming. You only take pictures of your children and only post them on your social media. I hope you can see how a 14-year-old girl could view this as you trying to exclude her. I hope you can have a conversation with her trying to explain your side of things, and hopefully she understands. Now for some comments. A small you're the a-hole. I think your intentions were pure, but you really should have tried to include her. My stepmother used to see my sibling and me 4 times a year, but would take a ton of pictures and post some. It meant a lot to us. You should apologize and explain to her why you haven't posted about her, taken pictures, and tell her that you love her as much as your biological kids, and will make sure to include her and post about her, and how proud of her you are in the future. It's important to have an open conversation now, in my opinion. I don't think anyone here is the a-hole. It's just a misunderstanding. Understand she is a hormonal 14-year-old girl and is still learning how to properly communicate. That's why she lashed out. You need to be patient. This is probably an insecurity that has festered for a while and it has bubbled over the surface. If you really care about salvaging your relationship with your stepdaughter, then just give her some time before reaching out. Apologize every chance you can and explain the situation as many times as you can to her. Once she calms down, your husband will too. Did you ask her? If she's there every other weekend, you do have an opportunity to photograph her. Did you ask her if she wanted them posted? She knows you took those pictures of her and then they didn't show up on social media, but a bunch of cute pictures of the younger kids did. It seems like you assumed what your stepdaughter wanted without talking to her, and that wasn't what she wanted and now she's upset. 14 is old enough to have a conversation with. Just posting her on Christmas and holidays definitely makes it seem to the outside world like she's not a part of your regular life. Only on special occasions, and I can see how that's upsetting for a teenager whose dad remarried and has a new family. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister why I don't want to have children? My parents had me, now 32 male, young, then had my little sister when I was 13. My mom passed away 2 years later. My dad, while present for most of my life, had never really contributed, and my mom took him back despite a lot of bad stuff he did. It was no surprise that a lot of care fell to me when it came to my baby sister. I was juggling school and her, eventually a job because dad lost his. A little after I graduated from high school, my dad got arrested. I was 18, so I was fine. But my sister was obviously too young. She faced being put in the system and I had a choice. I knew I'd never get to see her and I had to give it a shot. So I got legal guardianship. I had already pretty much been raising her. It was just us after that, and of course it wasn't easy. I couldn't go to college and I worked 2 jobs at a time to keep us afloat. My sister was a good kid, but obviously she struggled with not having traditional parents. Even when our dad got out, he never came back for her, and that was hard. I did everything I could to make her feel safe, secure, and protected. But half the time I felt like a kid too, because I never really got to be one. That led to another thought in my head. While I wouldn't change raising my sister, it did take away my youth and chance to be a free young adult like my peers at the time. I decided that she would be my only kid, which meant I had to find a partner okay with that. When my sister was in her teens, I met my now wife. She was great with my sister, who didn't need a mom but loved having a female figure. We got married the year before she graduated from high school and assured her, our home is always open to her, and she stays with us during breaks. She graduated from high school last spring and goes to a school out of state. I miss her a ton. But it was time for her to spread her wings. We talk, text, and Skype. Since she left, we've traveled and I have plans to go to college in the fall, a lifelong dream. The only thing that's changed is we've discussed fostering in about 10 years. But my wife also doesn't want babies. My sister recently started poking around asking when we would make her an aunt, and I said we had no plans to do so, explaining our plan. She got curious and I explained for myself. I raised a kid and now I felt like I was an empty nester, ready to live my life a bit. I knew instantly I had hurt her feelings and tried to explain that I wouldn't change raising her. She said she understood and hung up, but later admitted that around the time the wife and I got married, she felt guilty for being around so much. Now she feels like she ruined my life. Not true. My sister told my best friend, who is like another brother to her, my only friend who didn't abandon me when I got custody, and he is pissed at me. I feel awful that she's so sad, but I didn't think that was so wrong. Was I an a-hole for saying that? My wife says I could have worded it a lot better, because she would have been hurt too. Edit. People have said I should try to reach out to her. I have tried to, several times. This did just happen yesterday, so she's naturally still hurt and not willing to listen. But she will be coming home from her roommates. She was on vacation visiting on Friday. So I do plan to have a sit-down talk, then if she won't answer my calls or texts before then. Considering just writing an email. People have been calling my sister ungrateful and that's seriously bothering me. She's not. She is very much grateful and aware of what I did for her. It's why she feels this guilt. I think if she didn't, then I might even think she was ungrateful. Now for some comments. No a-holes here. I don't think it's an a-hole thing to be truthful about that. It's just reality. Yeah, I can understand why she would feel guilty and upset. So you probably should have realized it's the kind of thing you should be careful about how you say it. But once you hammer home to her that you're glad for how everything was, and why, would probably help drive that home. She should get over it. I think she's old enough to be able to understand what you're actually saying. And being honest about it doesn't make you an a-hole in my opinion. Not the a-hole. I grew up in foster care and moved around so much I can't remember the names of most people I've lived with. Was abused horrifically in every way imaginable. You did right by her. The only person who is an a-hole is your father. You kept her safe and gave her a stable home. This came at a great cost to you and I'm glad you're able to go back to school. Yeah, you could have worded it differently, but you were honest. Next time you talk to her, let her know you chose to adopt her and have no regrets. No a-holes here. I think you possibly worded it poorly, but it's a fair thing to feel. You've pointed out that you wouldn't change a thing, and it's fair to already feel like you raised a child. Because you did. What are you now? 30. And you've got a 17, 18-year-old sister who's effectively your daughter? You've spent 15 plus years raising a child, and it's completely fair enough to feel content that you're done raising kids. That's not even a bad thing. You just got a head start on having a child in an unconventional way. It's still fair enough for your sister to be upset depending on what was said. I would talk to your sister and apologize for explaining it in a way that hurt her, and talk it out with her.